On April 9, 2014, tragedy struck Papua, Indonesia. What was a routine takeoff turned into a day of deep sadness. It took less than 30 seconds to devastate Adventist Aviation and the hearts of those who loved Captain Bob Roberts, and he will be missed by many. Since Bob Roberts' death, his son Gary picked up the torch to continue his father's work as a mission pilot in Indonesia.
It's difficult and it's rewarding at the same time to come and serve where your father has dedicated a large portion of his life. We had to see definite direction from God that this is where He wanted us, because we're still working in Africa and leading several projects there that we didn't feel right about just walking away from. So it did take some time in prayer and asking for God to really open the doors for us to show us if this was His will.
Gary's brother Eric was also working as a mission pilot in Indonesia and was instrumental in keeping the Adventist Aviation program going after his father's death. When he learned that Gary was coming to work, Eric happily welcomed him to the Indonesian aviation family.
He'd flown a little bit with Dad here in the years past, and so he had some idea of the area already. He knew what he was getting into, and it made, I don't want to say my job easier, but it definitely has made it easier to have Gary here.
The objectives of Adventist Aviation here are to reach the areas that we can't reach through other modes of travel. We don't have many roads here. We can't travel up many of the rivers. And so aviation here really exists to share the gospel in areas that are inaccessible except by airplane.
And this is truly a mission family. Gary and team come together each morning to reflect on God's goodness and to pray that He will give them the ability to continue the work.
I can't remember exactly how many churches Dad has been directly responsible for building in Papua, but there are several, and a lot of them were built hauling loads on Sunday when everybody else was off, and really trying to keep a business running as well as keep the mission side of things running.
Really honor for Gary, because we're still dreaming the pilot like Bob, hard worker and have dedication for the church. And Bob is amazing man. He's not only hard worker, but when he went to the bush area, jungle area, he helped everybody. But thank you for God that Gary chose for join us at Indonesia and replace his daddy. I know Gary also hard worker.
I guess you could tell stories till the day is gone about the many different challenges, but it also creates the way for God to work in amazing ways. And I can say that the benefits of working in this job far outweigh the challenges.
The village of Teenyville is just one example of an area that was blessed by Bob's contributions. He visited this village to plant a church, which was eventually finished by the efforts of the aviation team. Now, a global mission pioneer works here in these highlands to spread the love of Jesus and lead people to Christ. As the gospel message continues to spread throughout the earth, please pray for projects like these. Pray that others will take up the work to complete God's mission.
So often I meet people who say, well, you know, that's great that you're a missionary, but I haven't been called to be a missionary. Well, actually everybody has been called to be a missionary. We've been given that mandate to go into all the world, and that's your neighbors across the street, that's the people who live next door, and that's the people who live in the very remote villages. And you wonder, how on earth are they going to hear about Jesus? And it's going to be through influence of an operation like this, where you go in and you meet their needs, you supply them with what they need, and share the gospel with them. And so there are tremendous rewards for anybody who's willing to trust God and to let Him be in control and do what He's asked us to do.